Hi and welcome to today's video, which is my first update in my current project pan to use 23 items in 2023. And this is a rolling project pan, so as I use items out, use an item, I'll roll another item in. So without further ado, I'll show you the progress I've made on the items I've chosen. Now the first one is Max Fix Plus. I've had this a couple of years and it's the older writing on there, and it started off in January at the top line, and this is where it is now. I use it as a finishing product after I've done my makeup. The only thing I do after this is my mascara, so in case my mascara would run. So when I've done everything else, I'd pop this on, and then I'd probably put lipstick on after as well, but it's just to set the face products. So I'm very pleased with that progress. The second item, so I've got all my items next to me to one side, so bear with me if I look away, is the Vivienne Westwood Boudoir, and there it is. See, I've got two lines. Now the first line at the top of the label was where I rolled it in, and that line is where it is now. I've used it about 50% of the time because I wear perfume every single day, but I have other perfumes I want to get use out of. But yeah, I'm on target to finish it possibly by the end of summer. I don't know, but it's a really nice fresh floral fragrance. It has more appeal for spring and summer, but you can wear it all year round. But it is unfortunately a discontinued item. The next item is by Nails Inc, and it's called Kensington High Street. I don't know if it'll pick it up, probably won't. And it's now, can you see? You can see through there. You might be able to make out the top of the label because it's a clear label, and it's there. That's the line, and that's where I started because I had used it prior to putting it into this project pan. I opened it in December, and the total usage since opening is 18. So I think it was around 10 times usage when I put it into the project pan, and it's now 18. So it does take quite a bit to, as you can see, to get down to that level. That's 18 times, which is 36 layers of individual polish. But fortunately I do like the colour. The only thing is it chips very, very badly, Nails Inc. And if I put on a topper, which I always used to put a sealant in, like a gloss sealant, it actually shells off the nail very quick. I think it gets too thick, and then it shells off my nails, which are very flexible, and it is a problematic because I have a collagen problem. So my nails are not good for putting polishes on, but they don't last as long as other people's. But I do like the effect, and it does actually help stop my nails splitting, which they do nearly all the time. So yeah, it is a help, and I'm glad I have this shade. But I think, as you can see, I shall get this finished this year, although it's getting a bit lumpy now, a bit thick. The next item is the Aveda Botanical Repair Leave-In Conditioner. Now I had a little one which I showed you at the beginning of the project because I wanted to use the small one that I got in a beauty advent calendar. Bought this over Christmas, and I've started using this. So this, when new was 117.5 gram, and it's now 105 gram. So I've used 12 grams, and I'll be using it again tonight when I wash my hair. So I'm on track to getting this finished this year, but it's difficult to tell what it exactly does because it repairs the bonds in the hair. So I'm going to carry on using it and see if my hair is any better at the end of the project than it is at the beginning. So we'll see. Then the next item is Balance Me Hyaluronic Plumping Primer, which I have discarded. I've got rid of that after a few uses because no matter what I did, it pilled on the skin, either on top of my skincare or the makeup would pill up with the makeup, and it would all just bubble off. So I think it's because it's highly silicone, and I use a lot of products with oils in. So I've passed it on to Good Home, and instead I've put in another item, which is a Becca highlighter, which I use as a base for the top of the eyelid, the brow bone. Now it was up to there when I started. It was brand new, so I've now got it to near flat. So I shall wind up how far it is, and there we go, and I'll mark it on my pad, and we'll see the project and the progress next month. And I do hope to get it finished this year, but who knows, because it's quite old and Becca is no longer available in the UK. I understand it may be in America because I'm sure it's part of Estee Lauder Group with Smashbox. Could be wrong, but Smashbox isn't available anymore in the UK either. So yeah, I'm hoping to get this out. Not because I don't like it. I do like Becca, but it is quite an old product and it is cream. So the next item I have is, let me just think, is the Mina BB cream, which I have used a few times now. This, when I put it into the project pan, was 49.5 gram, including packaging, and it is now 48 gram. So I've used 1.5 gram, which is about right, I would imagine. I've used it a few times. It's on today. It's a little dark for my skin, and these lights do wash me out, but I can make it work. Now, I don't rely on the SPF. I have got an SPF on underneath, and they seem to work together well. So yeah, I quite enjoy using this, and it does leave it's quite a sheer cover because you can see all my blood vessels there, which doesn't bother me. But what it does, it evens the tone of my skin, which is more rather than coveraging it, which is what I want. I just want to even the tone. There you go. So I'm sure I should get that to finish, particularly better towards the summer months. The next item is a Bare Minerals foundation, and it's the Pure Brightening Serum Foundation, which is discontinued. Now, when I rolled it in, I'd only used it a couple of times, and it felt quite empty. So what I decided to do, because it's very difficult to squeeze this to get the contents out, it's got a little nozzle at the top, and you can't shake it, you've got to squeeze it, tip it and squeeze. So I had great difficulty using it. I decided to on one go, squeeze it out into a pot. So this is 15 ml long compote, and I don't know if you can see, it's half empty. So there's only about 7.5 ml in here, which is disappointing. I think a lot of the fluid has evaporated over time, and I've only had this a year, but I don't know how long in storage the online store had it before it was sold to me. But anyway, it's quite nice. I wouldn't repurchase it even if I could, because I don't think it represents good value for money, mil by mil, because I've probably only had about 10 mil out of this in total, 10 mils worth, and this is supposed to be 30 mil. So I don't think it was good value for money, though I did pay around £10 for it. The next item is by Guerlain, and it is their champagne eyeliner, which I use on the waterline, lower waterline, and underneath. And then then as it's tacky, I'm able to put a little bit of shadow underneath as the eyeline. So what I've got here is I have marked it, and that's the Guerlain. So you can see that's where it is now, and the very top line is where it was when it was rolled in. So I'm using it consistently. Arguably it could do with sharpening again, but I won't. I'll carry on using because I don't need it for precision. And when it gets blunt and down to the wood, I will resharpen it. But it was in actually a previous project pan quite a long time ago, so it does need to be finished and out of my collection. Then I have, let me just think, I have Pixi colour corrector. Now I think this is one shade that they do, so it's really to counter dark circles under the eye, but it's really only for fair skin tones, and this is a very, very orange corrector, and if I do that you can see the darkness, but it does bounce a lot of light and it makes the rings less prominent. And I've had these since I was a child, so they're not age related, but I've gouged out quite a bit. I've used quite a lot, but I still think there's many months left to use. It is heavy, but I don't find it creases very much if set. It seems to be fine. Then I have a Tarte's Pro Glow Cream Contour and Powder Contour. So the contours or bronzers, whatever you want to use them as. So there is the cream one. So I've got a bit more use out of the cream. I'd only just used it about the once when I put it into the project. I've used it 5 or 6 times, and the rest of the time I've used this one. I've got the powder on today, and hopefully you can see. I don't know if you can see a bit more of a dent in it. I'm not sure, but I'm using that, and I don't think I'm anywhere near hitting pan. Let me just see if I can. It's difficult to get it where you can actually see there. Yeah, the light is being disrupted by the dent. But anyway, it'll be a few more months I think before I use it all, because I use it with a very light hand. And with the the cream, I dab it on with my finger with a clean finger and blend it out that way as well. So I'm not using a brush for extra, which then means you use extra product. I use very little just on my clean finger and pat it out. Then I have the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. So I weighed this at the start and it was 60 gram, the whole container, including the little brush thing at the bottom. So I've weighed it again today and it's 59.5 grams, so I've used half a gram. So I'm very pleased with that. And I want to get rid of, the aim really is to get rid of all the ripples of the like ripples of the sea, or maybe ripples on sand as the sea, with, you know, withdrawals. And I think that's probably what it's supposed to be. And I'm working on all of it, not just the centre, all the way around. So my aim is to use it until you can't see any more ripples. So I do think I've got a few more months to go. But half a gram isn't bad for someone who really isn't into a lot of bronzer. But I have used it virtually every time I've worn makeup, and I use it on the periphery of the face and around the neck, the jaw area. So it is lovely and creamy. I just wish they did a cool tone version that I would prefer. Now then, the next item I have is, let me just think, is By Terry Dual Powder. So here it is. So that's a sample or a travel size that I got in a kit, and I'm using it on my cheeks at the moment. There it is, a pinkish contour and blush. So that's where I'm up to. So can you see quite a lot? You can see more of the rings, which are proud. They do stand up proud anyway, but I'm getting quite a bit of use out of them, and it's quite pigmented. So I think it's 1.3 gram. So this could last quite a few more months, I think, with a light hand, because I don't like a lot of blush. And because I'm very pale, blush shows up very, very easily on my skin. Yes, I don't really have to build it up, but a little goes a long way. So, but it is a nice creamy product, and I may consider getting that in another shade. Now, then I have the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in Dim Light. Now, I've only used this a couple of times because I was quite happy with the finish after I'd used other powders. So it's still going strong. Like I say, I have used this a little bit, but I think this is going to be one that's going to be difficult to complete at this moment in time. I don't know if you can see, but it's, like I say, still being used. It still seems fine. Then I've got a Too Faced Love Light Blinded by the Light highlighter. Now, I'd worked, if you can recall, I worked on the top end and it was quite flat. So what I'm trying to do is flatten it, and I'm working on the top more towards this end here. So it's difficult to show progress. It is slow, and I think it's only after time you can see whether I managed to aim to get it flattened. Maybe not, but I've got it on today. I've got it on here, there, and just a bit there. But you only need a tiny bit, and I use a fan brush, a very fine fan brush, so I pick up very, very little. And you can see it's well worn because I've used it an awful lot over the years. So that's that one. Then I have Rowan Disco Eye 1.6 gram. I got that in an advent calendar, beauty advent calendar. Now, can you see I have got quite a bit of use out of that, but I don't know if you can see that way. Yeah, there's quite a lot has been used there. That's probably the best way. And there's quite a bit of a crater in it. So I haven't got it on my eyes today. I do usually wear it, but I've decided to go for a Valentine's Day look. And the look that I have on my eyes today is using all of the Natasha Denona miniature Love palette. And that's what I've got on my eyes with the dark one as that eyeliner today. So I've used all the colours. So just for once, I've not used the Disco Eyes. But I've really enjoyed that. And another thing is, and I've used a different lipstick today, one that I got in the advent calendar that I want to use up. And it is a Rose Pink by a mini by Laura Mercier, and it's really nice. I really do enjoy that. So I've been wearing this a few times because I want to get it used up. But it hasn't diverted me too much away from the main project, as you'll see. So the next item I've got is the, I was going to say with the Rowan, I use it as a topper. I just have quite a a firm brush to pick the product. If you use a fluffy brush, it won't pick up at all. So use a hard brush. You've really got to gouge into it, and then it picks up a few bits of glitter. You can place it over the eye, wherever you want, over the lid. That's what I do. So the next item, moving on, is the Rodale Brow Pencil Ash Blonde. This was I got this a few months ago in TK Maxx. It was very, very dried. I've used it all because it no longer, there it is. And it was only the height of a mini Precisely My Brow from Benefit. Yeah, this is the full size one, and this one is generally quite expensive. Got a nice brush. Now, the reason I used it all up is there's very little colour payoff. It had gone dry, so I had to use it an awful lot to get any pigment, so it's all gone. So let me show you Rodale. So the Rodale, the top of the Rodale was there. Let me see, where's Rodale? Was there. And then the bottom was there, and I've used that much in the month. So that's now gone, and it went a few days ago. So what I've done is I've introduced a Goof Proof Brow Pencil Mini by Benefit, and I started this as soon as I finished the other, and as you can see, there is a bit of use because it was level. It was actually just above. It was about there when I it couldn't be wound down any further. Now I can wind it down a bit further, so I've used a couple of mil, I would think. So I'm going to mark it on here, the new brow, and you don't get an awful lot, but it will take longer than the Rodale because it's thicker. It does have quite a lot of product in there, and I've got it on my brows today. It's a bit darker than I would like. I think it's a 3.5, this colour, and I would prefer a 1 or a 2 in all honesty, but it's not too bad, and it does give quite a bit of definition. So I'm pleased to at least have started this because I've had this a while, so I'm glad to get this used. Then I have an Autograph shadow in Pure Blush. Now I use this, I lay down this as a shadow before I put other shadows on top to help them to blend. So it's difficult to see, but yeah, it is going to be very, very difficult. But I have got more of a dip in it. Can you see? There's quite a bit of dip. So I wonder if I'll hit pan within the next month, and then I will carry on using it to see how much I can use up this year. But it's a lovely soft one, and it does allow any other product on top to blend with a blending brush. The next item I've got is by Daniel Sandler, and it's the Long Lasting Waterproof Eyeliner. Now, I do love Daniel Sandler's products. He's available on QVC. I think I got this in a QVC gift set when I bought various other, I think it's Try It Love It bag or a stocking or something, and I got it in one of, they don't seem to be doing that many anymore, but I did get it maybe 3 years ago. So let me just get Daniel Sandler is here, and I have made a mark. The mark just above that is where it's today, and the one above that is the start one. So they're the two markings. That's the current marking. So I have used a few mil, and I've used it most days and whenever I've worn makeup, except for today, when, like I say, I've got the Love palette by Natasha Denona. But this is a lovely pencil, one of my favourites. It's a bit thick, so it does give a thick line, but it's a really lovely, lovely pencil, a lovely kohl. So I would gladly use that one again. Then I have a lipstick Queen Sweet as Honey. Now, I've used this a lot. So that's it in the container, so I've used a lot, and that's it now. Now I have made marks from the end, so that's where the lipstick Queen is now, and that is where it was. So I've used a lot of lipstick. So I reckon this may take another couple of months to finish. That's my projections is right. So it would have been maybe into April, March or April. I'd say April, it may be done if I could carry on using it. Now it looks quite pinkish here, but it does come quite whitish on my lips because I have quite mauve pink, quite dark mauve pink lips. So I just about get away with it, but it's not my favourite. But I'm able to get use out of it, and it does last on the lips quite a long time. You don't need to constantly touch it up. The next item I've got is by Stila, and it is a lip balm with a stain, and it's a very waxy balm. Now when I put it into the pan, I'll show you where it was. It was up to there. So now it's up to there, so it shows I have used it a bit, and I shall roll it up. And I've got here the Stila there. So I've used a couple of mil again with that. This is going to take a long time because you need such a little amount, and it is a waxy as opposed to a very smooth balm. So you only need a little, but it does tingle a little bit on the lips, and it does smell, it does have the scent or a bit of a menthol scent. I actually like it, and it's a pity it's a discontinued item. It seems to be quite fashionable now, this sort of stain and this colour, but it'll take me many months to use this up, but I'm glad that I'm finally using it. Then I have another item which I've used only a couple of times, and it's Makeup Forever Lab Shine. I can't really show you any progress because there isn't any, but I have used it. You don't get much in there, and normally I can fly through these if I concentrate on them, but I haven't been because I've got too many other lip products to use. But it'll probably be a slow one when it's going to take many months to finish up. I'll probably have more chance over summer, I would think. And then finally, I have an Aromatherapy Associates oil in Deep Relax, which I got in an advent calendar. Now the top mark is where it was last month, and this is where it is now, so it's very small progress. It's what I expected, but I didn't use it every single night before I go to bed. That's when I'd use it, so I hope to have more progress when I come back to you mid-March. Who knows? So they're all the items that all 23 items. I hope you found this interesting. Let me know your thoughts down below, and hopefully I shall see you again in another month, and perhaps even in another video. Otherwise, can I say thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I shall see you again. Otherwise, take care and bye for now.